Signing the way.
Oh, I'm ready to go. I think everyone's excited, just to transition from all the practice and camp stuff into an actual game setting.
Have you thought much about being a senior and kind of this starting the year off strong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it kind of hit me, earlier. It's just like it's crazy that it's my last year here. Time really does fly. Seems like just yesterday I was coming in as a freshman, just trying to understand what's happening and all that stuff. But it's been really fun, and like you said, it's my senior year, so I really just want to make the most of it and do whatever I can for this team and help maximize our potential.
We talked about it a couple times this summer, and also over Big 12 Media Day about your connection with Skylar.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that at coming out of fall camp?
Oh, it's good. Yeah. I mean, like you guys have kind of hit on before me and Scott, I feel like I've always just had a really good connection. He came in a year after me, but we were on a scout team together and kind of came up at the same time together. And so then it's just been really good, getting to learn this whole offense, this whole system with him. His leadership throughout this whole process has been really good. And then just, me and him talking about things we like and the game plan, stuff like that, watching film together, breaking down opponent film, stuff like that has been good for helping to build our relationship, stuff like that.
How different do you feel the passing game will look on Saturday compared to what we've grown accustomed to over the years?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different style of offense. We're going to try to be really efficient in the passing game and then take shots downfield. I think we have more play action stuff than we did in the past. Obviously, we're under center a lot more, so that kind of changes some stuff as well. But, I'm excited to see how it's going to look in the game.
At what point did you feel comfortable to where you thought you weren't thinking anymore and just playing within the offense?
I think we were reaching that point in the spring, but definitely all through summer, tightening stuff up and all that stuff, and then basically reinstalling everything in fall camp. It was just like the whole second time we installed, it was like, wow, okay, I got all this down. And that helps build your confidence and know what you're doing.
Who else at receivers impressed you during camp?
I think, honestly, the whole room has been really, really cool to see just because there's been so many guys that have been impressive. Obviously, Malik Knowles has done a great job stepping up big. Joaquin Gill's been doing good stuff all through spring, all camp. Landry Weber had a really good camp. And, Sebastian Taylor's right there in the mix, too. So we got a lot of guys. Obviously, Joshua Youngblood's the young guy everyone keeps talking about. So, we got a lot of guys who I think can go. So I'm excited to see how it's going to look in a game with the rotation, stuff like that, and see what people do.
What are your impressions of Chris Herron in the time he spent playing receiver?
I think he's done a great job with, like you said, the time he's played. Yeah. He hasn't played a lot. He started in camp playing while he was still in the quarterback's room, and eventually now has been meeting with us some too. So he hasn't had a lot of time to work on it, instructions like that. But he's got a lot of natural ability, a lot of stuff you can just say, hey, go run this route and see what happens, and he can go make some good plays because he's a great athlete.
We've seen you run different routes in a lot of games in your career. Mm-hmm. At what point, where are you most dangerous?
Ooh, I would say when I can identify, for at least with a good idea what the defense is going to do, and then know what I'm going to do and know that Skyler knows what I'm going to do. That's when I'm at my best. So honestly, just where I feel comfortable and prepared well. I like to move around, slot, outside. I like to be in both spots. But just when I can, pre-snap identify what the defense is going to do and then have faith that the quarterback also sees it and I can play that play with a lot of confidence and a lot of speed, just knowing that we know what's going on.
Walter Neal praised you yesterday as the receiver who kind of got him the most in this camp as far as beating him. On the flip side, what corner gave you the toughest time, or what corners played well in camp this year against you?
I would say definitely both Walt and AJ. I love going against those guys just because, they're kind of the same situation, kind of came up with them. So we've been going at each other for a long time now, and we love to talk smack to each other. And I know I'm going to get him someplace, he's going to get me someplace with both of those guys. So it's been a lot of fun going against both those guys all camp, It's stuff like that that helps keep camp interesting, keep it exciting when you can talk smack to each other and know that, at the end of the day, you're going to leave the field friends, but you're making each other better out there.
What kinds of things come to your mind now as you kind of process your senior year and going forward and the season and all that encompasses?
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard to fathom because I'd mentioned to you guys, I think down in Dallas, coming here, I didn't really even expect to play, under a significant role. I was hoping if I worked hard, I'd get on special teams, And then to get to play my sophomore year was crazy. And it's at that point, I felt like I had so much time left. But in a blink of an eye, my junior year was gone. Obviously, it didn't go like we wanted it to. So now it's I really had to approach this off season with that intentionality and making every day count because, I can't waste this. This year, I know it's going to go quick. And so, like I've been saying, I just don't want to have any regrets at the end of this.
Given how close last year's opener was with South Dakota, is there a little urgency with the team to come out and get off to a little bit faster start this time?
Yeah, definitely with how last year went, the first game. Also, just with a lot of the staff coming from those FCS schools, we know these FCS schools aren't bad teams. They're really good football teams, and we know we can't overlook them. I think last year a lot of us fell into the trap of, we have Mississippi State week 2. We spent time in camp preparing for Mississippi State, which now it's like, okay, no, we do know we have Nicholls State game 1. We have to focus on that. We got to take this process one game at a time. And so I think we're definitely a lot more focused on week 1 this year.
How motivated are you guys by trying to essentially prove anybody who doubted Chris Kleiman right that he is the guy that was right for this job?
Yeah, I think very motivated because, a lot of people were doubters at first. I think even some players were doubters at first, but then we met Coach and, he showed us his passion for the game and for us, and I think that makes us want to go play for him just a little bit more, When you have that motivation, that coach truly cares about you, like as a person outside of football too, it's going to make you that much more motivated on game day to go do it for them.
You said when you came here, you were kind of thinking about playing on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
You thought maybe that might be your role. Your latest former walk-on from the state of Kansas to be named the team captain. How does that blow your mind?
It's crazy, honestly, because it's something I dreamed about, something I want to do, just to even be here, to be in the room. So to go from that to, being named captain was incredible. But, to be honest with you, I had a lot of good examples in front of me. Trent Tanking was a guy I looked up to. He was the same way. He came here as a walk-on, was named team captain. Stan Weber, he was my big brother on the team. Kind of when I got here, he was kind of someone who kind of sat me down and showed me the ropes, said, hey, if you want to be successful in this program, like do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, he was a captain. So, it didn't take any more convincing than him just telling me that, okay, this is what I need to do if I want to get on the field on special teams, if I want to be a leader in this program. So I think those two guys really helped show the way for me.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on Nick Ost. We hear a lot about his film study and that stuff, but physically, like what's he good at? What's he like as a quarterback as far as physical skills go?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head with his film study and the fact that I think guys can trust him. And guys respect that he knows what he's doing. He can throw the ball well. We know he's got a little moxie, too, in the run game. So when the play breaks down, he's going to take off if he has to. So I think it just comes back to the whole trust thing. Guys trust him that he's going to make the right decision with the ball and that he's going to put them in a position to be successful.
What are the biggest challenges when it comes to being a leader?
I think one of the big challenges that was, I think, hard for me at first is you have to know sometimes guys are going to disagree with you. Guys aren't going to like you. That kind of hit home in the winter and summer workouts when it's like guys either aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing or I know they can do more, and I had to kind of call them out for it. Everyone wants to be liked, but sometimes you're going to have to tell them something they don't want to hear. So that can be tough to kind of be the bad guy in a sense, but it needs to be said. So it's tough to do that. I think our team, though, in our leadership group, has done a good job of backing each other up because it's hard if you're trying to call people out or you're trying to hold people accountable when you're the only one doing it. But when we have the 7 guys that we do, it really helps.
Is the leadership, is the mood kind of different than this time a year ago?
Yeah, I think someone mentioned this to me last year. I mean, I think this year we have a lot more leaders. Last year we had a great leader in Dalton Risner, but, at the end of the day, he was one of the only ones stepping up and leading. And so I think this year we have a lot more leaders, and that's really been helpful because, like I just said, it's hard to be the one guy stepping up and saying something. It's hard to be the one guy who's being vocal, but when you have a group of people who are doing it, you can kind of all build off each other and trust that they're going to pick you up if you're falling short and things like that.
So is Nicholls the only team you've prepared for?
Yep.
Haven't looked ahead to anybody else?
No, we're pretty much focusing one game at a time, which, I mean, I like it that way. I always hated trying to prep for someone down the season because at the end of the day, you're probably not going to remember what you were prepping for anyway. It's kind of just a waste of time. So I'm glad we're just focusing week by week. We got to take care of business one game at a time.
Have you found it more challenging, to play really good FCS teams like South Dakota or FBS teams? I won't name names, but the ones who, go in 1-10, 1-11. Mm-hmm. Which is a tougher challenge for you guys?
Well, I definitely think the FCS teams it's more of a trap game in a sense, because I believe the past couple of years at least, the FCS teams we've played are honestly sometimes better than the lower level FBS teams. So, but as a fan, everyone expects us to just go out there and kill the FCS teams when in reality, these are top 10 FCS teams we're playing every year, and they're really good football teams. I think Nicholls went 9-4 last year. They're a playoff team. They got a 4-year starter at quarterback. So they're a good football team. So obviously, you can't overlook them, and they are better than some FBS teams. So we just got to prepare like we need to, though.
What have you seen out of Denzel at safety?
Denzel's a great, just all-around great player on and off the field. He's a great leader off the field. He's someone who you can sit down and talk with and, just share life with and get to know really well. And then that translates on the field. He's going to be now a 3-year starter. He's grown so much, I think, since he's come in here. And he's just a really smart and experienced player at safety. I feel like he always knows what's going on. He has a good grasp of the defense, from what I can tell. And so he's that experienced guy back there that you want leading the defense.
How cool is it to be a captain with all these other guys you came up with?
It's been really cool. Just for me, you know, coming in as a walk-on, bottom of the totem pole to get to play, now to be voted captain with these awesome guys that I came in with has been an awesome experience. I mean, it's truly an honor to be voted by my team. There's so, like I said, we've had so many leaders on this team. There's so many guys who are deserving of it. So it was really cool for us all to be selected like that.
I know it was a different staff for you when you got awarded a scholarship, but what's been the process for these guys now? Do they announce in front of the team? Is it more private? So as a guy gets added, how's it going with this staff?
Yeah, I think it was more of a private thing. I just found out from the people.
Right.
Roommates with Tyler Burns, so he told me when he got home that day. Then I found about Landry and Noah later that day. But I mean, it's cool for me being a former walk-on to see all those guys get put on, especially like a guy like Landry. Similar story to me, came from the same area. He had to battle his way on special teams, and now he's getting some time at receiver. So I'm excited to see what he does more in the future, but really happy for those guys.